This is a recording of an old speech of mine from about 9 months ago for my Yanalangami sisters who are on a Changemaker program driven by the Trampi organisation. This speech is on First Nations leadership, and I first delivered it at the 10th First Nations Leadership Summit in Sydney in 2024. As women, our unique backgrounds and heritage stories play an important role and can be shared, can be the catalyst to drive impactful change and enrich our work environment. We're going to explore how diversity can empower us to become better leaders, inspiring and uplifting those around us through our Indigenous leadership perspective. To start, I'd like to acknowledge the many language and kinship groups, our First Nations, on whose land we conduct our business. And specifically today, with this re-recording, I'm on Quandamooka land. I acknowledge elders past, present and emerging, and thank them for their care and custodianship of country, community and culture, and acknowledge with gratitude the privilege and wealth that I and fellow citizens and visitors to this country derive from this land, and acknowledge with regret the way in which these privileges were taken. I commit to sharing my time and career and promoting community healing and the sharing of prosperity. Kamilaroi, or also pronounced Gamilaroi, blood runs through me, and I have two mission families, Woorabinda and Palm Island. I was born on Larrakia, grew up in Durrumble country, work in Turrbal and Yagara, and live in Quandamooka. And I rest by travelling the globe. Why is that important? Well, because it's life that shapes us, and the land in which we live, work and play presents us the learning experiences. We all know that companies that embrace diversity perform better. They have higher levels of collaboration, higher levels of engagement, which reduces turnover and costs, and they have high levels of performance, creativity, and innovation. The higher the value, they also experience a higher value of their organisation, whether that be through share price or value to the community and its customers. Our experiences, demographics, and beliefs create diversity, and it's often referred, these many layers, to as intersectionality. It's a summary of our descriptors: gender, class, neurodivergence, abilities or disabilities, and how we love are some examples. I'm going to talk about why my Aboriginality and identity places me in a specifically privileged position to have a strong foundation of leadership that gives me an advantage in a team, makes me a better team player, and when needed, makes me a leader, albeit a very reluctant one. The secret ingredient here is empathy and kindness, which I often refer to as grace. I'll talk in three parts: the past, present, and the future. And to end, I'll share my actions for you as a leader for your future. So a quick question: who listening has evaluated their leadership style? Keep your hand up if you think that leadership style has been formed by any part of your cultural identity, specifically for those First Nations brothers and sisters and cohort, whether it's been formed by your Aboriginal identity. Disclaimer: if you're trying to build an authoritarian-led style, which can be necessary in some environments or moments, and are given a powerful enough mandate to make people do what you want, then this little chat might not be for you. This leadership is about performing leadership as an act of service, and it's not about getting people to do what you want, but it's about people wanting to follow you. So here are a few quotes that describe my leadership style in the who, what, where, when, and how. The who: I lead myself first. I am the captain of my ship and I am the master of my fate. What is my why? Well, I'm driven by justice. The true measure of a society is how it treats its most vulnerable members. Where do I lead from? Well, I'm non-hierarchical, so I say lead from where you are. What do I have to give? I'm brave, albeit sometimes feeling bruised. Leaders are the ones who have the courage to go first, to put themselves at personal risk, and to open a path for others to follow. Risks. What opportunities should I take? Well, I'm accountable to the community, always the community. And when do I stop leading? When courage, change, bravery, and advocacy are no longer needed. Let's close that gap, shall we? So here's the first chapter, past gifts for this Aboriginal child. Imagine this, political debate all around you, the loudest laughs, the soul replenishing kind, a total feeling of love, so much you almost take it for granted, a safety and the tactile feeling of warmth, soft skin, healing hands, and joy to see all of you, the wonder and the imperfection. Just pure love and joy. The more you love, the more love there is. It's like a wonderful fire that smoulders but can never truly go out. This is gift number one, love. My past and Aboriginal heritage has shaped my everyday leadership practice. From my early days, I was instilled with the importance of the three C's: country, community, and culture. It is a framework to live by, a lens, a truth that comes from within and guides the decisions I make, priority I place, and the quality of life I and others live. It is our life compass that becomes our leadership strength. Country, the earth, the sky, and the water that surrounds us and is in us and is a reflection of our health. Community, those who we serve and those who we are accountable to. Culture, our law, our governance, and quite simply, the way in which we've agreed to interact with each other. This is gift number two, our moral compass, using a framework of the three C's and the call to find where you sit in each. These pillars stretch beyond personal success to elevating and empowering those around us. My childhood was about sharing the power, because the more you share, the more power there is. It is in overwhelming conflict with leadership focused on withholding power that is designed to only promote self-centered recognition and raise visibility. Leaders focused on ego and disconnection from others is where significant and serious problems arise. So, how do we connect with others? My grandmother Lucy, my nana Lorna, my dad and my mum taught us first how to advocate for others. Why? Well, because people are worth it. But also because advocacy is a muscle. And the more you practice it, the better you get at it. It is easier to advocate for another. When that day comes that you have to advocate for yourself, you will have practiced that muscle. You are going to survive and you are more likely to thrive in the experience. When you believe you are worth advocating for, you have realized the third gift, worth, or in another word, understanding your value. The other great lesson is to never give direction. That is, to be actively aware of the decisions that we make on others' behalf. So, taking the situation with a child, every time we think about making a decision, try to abstain or refrain from making it. It's a challenge that will come to us every day and many times a day. But for each decision we make on someone else's behalf, it takes away their agency. We also need to help them learn through the consequences. But as a child, I was, for every decision, taught to be a critical thinker. We were never told the answer or told what to do. Instead, we were taught how to analyse, evaluate, and make great decisions for ourselves, while forever being mindful of our impact on others. And that is the fourth gift, critical thinking. A final gift that I was given was sports, and I cannot emphasize enough how much we underestimate as a society women's need to move, to use the power in our bodies to be strong, and how much protecting our bodies in sports actually translates to us being able to protect our bodies at home and in the streets. It is also our earliest experience of taking the lead and being led. Being a team player and directly seeing our impact on others is a powerful learning experience as it facilitates play, which is the most effective state in which learning happens. Because of the leadership in my family, I can lead. So, what happens in life when the people you lead have not received these gifts? Well, we catch them right on up. Or more accurately, we create an environment where they can catch up for themselves. I grew up surrounded by Aboriginal leaders, and that is why I was bestowed these gifts. So let's dive into some characteristics that are very specific in Aboriginal leadership. This takes us to chapter number 2, the present. What makes Aboriginal leadership special, and what does it look like? Now more than ever, the globe needs our style of leadership. Here today, I'm talking about Aboriginal leadership, but I want to say that there are synergies all over the world among Indigenous people, especially with the 3 Cs. Now more than ever, it's needed Indigenous perspectives on the environment, social, human advancement, conflict resolution, and a more respectful interaction and interplay with each other as humans. It is crucial that we bring Indigenous viewpoints into the conversation, shaping a more holistic and inclusive vision for our nation and our planet. I talked about being surrounded by Aboriginal leaders, their voices carried through conversations, the conversations of my family, where politics, advancement, and empowerment and the fight for education was a regular soundtrack in my childhood. I think of Pat O'Shane, Lewitcha O'Donoghue, Neville Bonner, Charles Perkins, Eddie Mabo, and the list goes on. I see their superpowers that define Aboriginal leadership in my mind, and my modern day examples are Linda Burney and Ian Hamm. They have a series of qualities that have come from experience that generates a profound strength that we have needed to shape and support communities. And I'm here to highlight that these strengths in leadership are needed in our teams and in the corporate space. Superpower number 1, empowering and investing in people. One of the defining features of Aboriginal leadership is our unwavering commitment to empowering and investing in people. This superpower manifests through compassion, inclusiveness, and forgiveness. We don't simply write people off or succumb to disappointment. Instead, we embrace empathy, nurturing hope, and supporting each other's individual growth. By choosing to understand and uplift others, we foster an environment where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. And some of the magic I see in corporate life is observing Aboriginal businesses and organisations and the social innovation that they apply. They take extra care in their workforces and in the community. Superpower number 2, critical thinking and mental toughness. Aboriginal leaders possess a unique ability to shine under pressure. We are diamonds. Imagine our people are a piece of coal and life is a colonial hand as it squeezes, trying to crush us. But the force is so great that sometimes dust rolls through the fingers. But what is sometimes revealed is a diamond that is formed under great pressure. This superpower is developed by those who work hard to develop their critical thinking, who demand and consume education, often self-educating, and understanding their privilege and hold a deep sense of gratitude. It involves a mental toughness formed under constant tests, a higher bar that's often applied to Aboriginal people being set on the basis of the colour of our skin and exceeded through sheer determination. What is left is resilience and clarity. This strength is crucial in creating solutions and driving progress, even in the face of adversity. Superpower number 3, youth inclusiveness. Our commitment to youth is a powerful aspect of Aboriginal leadership. We actively promote, grow, and advocate for the younger generation, ensuring that they have a seat at the table by valuing their voices and perspectives. It also links us to the future generations and optimizing their potential. And it also links us to past generations by tapping into the knowledge that they pass down through our DNA. We not only empower them, but also secure a future where diverse viewpoints are integral to our collective decision making and innovation. It's always been important to me to acknowledge future and emerging elders in line with this principle. I want to humble every leader in this room that whilst we're not done yet and remain committed, that we will leave a burden for our future generations, and the intergenerational problems and challenges that we have require intergenerational solutions, which must be picked up by an appreciated and a dedicated team of future leaders. I refer to our emerging elders. Superpower number 4, prolific contribution. Aboriginal leaders are prolific in their contributions to the community, despite being underpaid or even unpaid for their lifelong work. These leaders provide invaluable service and guidance. Their dedication is a testament to their commitment to community, welfare, and leadership, and demonstrating a level of service that extends beyond financial compensation. These acts of service create a relentless work ethic, which is underestimated and often dismissed by those promoting negative stereotypes of our people. Those who have something to give, which is seen as a privilege, are expected to pass it along to those who have less. We are prolific in our work and contribution, and this next level commitment often shows through powerful and positive acts of behaviour in workplaces, making us an asset. Superpower number 5, clarity and vision that leads to efficiency. The clarity of direction and vision is another hallmark of Aboriginal leadership. It's often described as energy or charisma, but fundamentally it represents an undying belief in one's objectives and future goals. Underneath the surface is an incredible level of discipline and practice. This is not something you can fake. This superpower is essential for creating drive and sustaining change. Without this clarity and an understanding of strategy, it becomes challenging to inspire and lead effectively. Continual application creates courage. I think standing up to unpopular views is often at a risk to individuals, but does benefit the community. So even with grace, discipline, and power to leverage, being a change maker can come at a cost, particularly if you're doing it right. Superpower number 6, strategic sense and community grounding. Aboriginal leaders exhibit a heightened strategic sense coupled with a deep grounding in community values. This superpower involves understanding the long-term effects of decisions, practicing co-leadership, and providing strategic coaching. It's about aligning community needs with strategic actions to ensure sustainable and impactful outcomes. I've observed Aboriginal leaders do incredible things, not give up, stay focused as they continue to take knocks, turning them into learning experiences. After that, they go in smarter and more effective. We think long term and incorporate that into the campaign. We think logistics, we think long-term structural change, our timing, and operationalising. Continual application, that is practice, refines my strategy. Writing a strategy that navigates the kind of resistance I expect to encounter is my superpower, and understanding how hard I can push my team and stakeholders, and reading and responding to the levels of discomfort along the way, and figuring out who will come with me and who will be setting off for a different journey at a different pace for a different ambition is a skill. Superpower number 7, self-accountability and self-educating. My Nana's quote on education: the more education you have, the more choices for work and your profession. The better the job, the better the pay. Financial independence means that you do not have to compromise. When you don't have to compromise for the things you are truly in control of your life. Actively seek information. Knowledge is power. For our family, our ambitions were focused on securing broader acknowledgement of the First Nations of this country and advancing economic inclusion. My Nana's first active service to the community was advocating for education for our young ones. It is clear that when Aboriginal people are included in workplaces, decision-making processes, that those environments will thrive and the solutions will be more effective. This historical context has been pivotal in shaping our approach to leadership today, emphasising the need for continued focus on education and training to foster economic participation. But more specifically than that, I want to go on a marketing drive in corporate Australia to highlight the natural born talent of Aboriginal people in leadership. And it starts with being able to recognise it and articulate it. We have provided our advocacy in so many social movements, unions, gender equality, human rights, global peace missions, and rejecting all types of xenophobia because we know how it feels to be on the receiving end. We are change makers and we are really good at it. Or should I say, we're deadly at it. Let's recap before I go to the future by recapping on some of the overarching principles. Our leadership capability is born from within us. We create a psychological and physical toolkit. It is the ability to make our own decisions, to empathise, to advocate, to critically think and self-educate, to negotiate and know your worth, to recognise, broker and create power. You are the master of the ship. You are the captain of your fate. Leadership requires grit and sacrifice. Through being here, we demonstrate that we have it. So I talked before about empathy and kindness. In leadership, I refer to it as grace. What we have gone through as a community can either make or break you. And on any given day, we hover between the two. From making a choice between lateral violence or lateral love, we can have a trauma response or respond with lateral violence or come from a place of love, lateral love. And now I'm here to say, I'm here for the love. I love our people. Our people are beautiful. And you can quote me on that and you can hold me accountable anytime, like only our community can. We start by showing ourselves grace and we lead by showing others grace. Chapter 3, Future. Taking action. 3 things to do here to bring it back to you and those you lead. Think about the diversity of your teams and think about your ability to recognise their attributes based on their identity and their intersectionality. Have you created an environment in which they can thrive? And what is your leadership act of service going to be? This is the trick to how you thrive. So what's my leadership act of service? It's not original. I'm going to refer you to a TED Talk by Carla Harris back in November 2018. And she told the story about how meritocracy is a myth. So things aren't just given to you based on your levels of capability. You need to build both political and social capital for yourself by connecting to others. And the biggest thing is find yourself a sponsor at the table. Now, I had a problem. I represented 2 decades in 3 male-dominated professions: technology, procurement, within the finance sector. There have been few sponsors for me, but the video never said that I couldn't be the sponsor for someone else. Boom. My Aboriginal capabilities and leadership just kicked in, and I set about being the nirvana for someone else. I'm going to carry their name into the room. I'm going to make their work visible at the table, and I'm going to help someone ascend. The way Carla says to grow your power is to give it away. So let's bring it home. Remember, I asked 2 questions. Again, who in the room has evaluated their leadership style? And keep your hand up if you think your leadership style has been formed by your Aboriginal identity. Or for non-Indigenous brothers and sisters on the call and cohort, your non-Indigenous identity. List 10 capabilities, traits, and talents that you have as a leader. Circle the ones that you think connected to the 3 C's and your upbringing, and set some time aside to look at the environment that you provide for your teams in which you lead. Is there enough light and lateral love getting through to make some magic? So in closing, finally, leadership is a continuous journey. It is rooted in our past experiences, evolves through our current actions, and is shaped by our aspirations for the future. By embracing our heritage, recognizing current needs, and preparing for future challenges, we can ensure that our leadership is both transformative and inclusive. Some people have said to me that the leadership traits that I rattle off are not unique to Aboriginal people, that just means it's great leadership in general. And I guess the one thing I would say to you is, in that case, why are we in such dire need for it in the world? We have superpowers, empowering and investing in people, critical thinking, youth inclusiveness, prolific contributions, clarity and vision, a strategic sense. These are the bedrock of Aboriginal leadership. They not only enrich our communities, but they also offer valuable lessons for leaders everywhere. As we move forward, let's draw inspiration from these strengths and enhance them in our leadership practice. Don't be shy. Tell the world, because I'm telling you, they need us now more than ever. Enjoy, sisters.